When you hear the term Marxism, what do you think of? A failed experiment in government? A supervillain with a funny mustache? Actually, that's kind of accurate. But if we're gonna understand the world today, we need to understand Marx. In this video, we go in to look at how his ideas have shaped our world from the writing of the Communist Manifesto to today's social movements. Karl Marx was born in 1818 in Germany. He grew up in a time of great social change. The Industrial Revolution was underway and huge disparities in wealth were emerging between the owners of the means of production and the working class. Marx believed that these two groups were in conflict and that the only way to end this conflict was to abolish the private ownership of the means of production and establish a classless society. In 1848, Marx co-authored the Communist Manifesto, which outlines the principles of communism. The book was a call to action for the working class to overthrow the bourgeoisie, the owners of the means of production. It's arguably one of the most influential political books ever written, and its impact can still be felt today in places like Cuba and North Korea. After the publication of the Communist Manifesto, Marx went into exile in London. There he wrote several books on economics and philosophy, including Das Kapital, which was published in 1867. In it, Marx argued that capitalism is inherently unstable because of the conflict between the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. This conflict would eventually lead to the collapse of capitalism and the transition to socialism, and then communism. While Marx never saw the term socialist or communist used in a positive way, today it has a much different meaning. Many countries identify as socialist or communist, even though they don't really follow Marx's ideas. For example, some countries like China and Vietnam still have a significant working class and a large gap between the rich and the poor. However, they are not democratic and do not allow for the free exchange of ideas. Despite this, they are considered socialist countries. Marx's ideas have also influenced many social movements, including the labor movement, the civil rights movement, and the feminist movement. Labor leaders have long cited Marx's work as justification for workers' rights, and many civil rights activists have been influenced by Marx's ideas on class struggle. Similarly, feminists have drawn on Marxist ideas to analyze the gendered division of labor and the ways in which women's work is often undervalued. However, Marx's ideas have also been used to justify some pretty terrible things, including totalitarianism, war, and genocide. One of the most egregious examples is the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin, who used Marxist ideas to justify his regime's brutality. In fact, some scholars argue that the Soviet Union was not really a communist state at all, but rather a totalitarian state that used communist rhetoric to stay in power. So what is the legacy of Marx today? His ideas have had a profound impact on our world, both positive and negative. Whether you love him or hate him,